Hi, everyone. Anyone signed on yet? I'll just wait a little while. Waiting for my two people. Yay! Hi, Karen.
Yeah, this is Karen.
Great.
Would it be better not to show my face? I'm a little, my apartment's kind of a mess.
I have one other person coming. I only got two people this time. I was like,
Oh, no.
so you're Karen, right? That's it.
I'm Karen, yeah. That's me.
This is Karen Rudnick. Rudnicki?
Rudnick.
Rudnick.
Yeah.
So we'll give a couple minutes. Somebody might have gotten distracted, and I can send them a copy afterwards anyway. So did you come? You came to the first one, right?
No, I couldn't. I had, believe it or not, I had something to do at that time.
Oh, really?
I'm being very active on Zoom. I'm taking online yoga classes, online drawing classes, and they sort of, sometimes they're at the same time.
Yeah,
so.
no, I mean, I'm actually kind of, I do a lot of remote readings anyway. So I'm just exclusively doing remote readings. I'm doing this. I even have a birthday party, a 50th birthday party online, that I'm going to be reading for. And the theme is Wallace and Edward, the movie.
Oh, yeah, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor.
So funny. Yeah, so I printed this out as the background. That's the theme. That's the
king. That's the brother.
Yeah, the brother that took over. And so I thought, if you saw the movie, I'm going to be drinking a martini with olives and put a sequin dress on and stuff. So it's just really lovely ladies, and they said, we'll just have 4 people for my 50th and you can read. I said, that's a great idea. It's adorable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I guess we should start because we're like 2 minutes in and she can join in and I'll send her the copy anyway. Okay.
So these are the cards I have. I don't know what they're called, but they're basic.
Let me see, sweetheart. Let me see. Turn them around. Yeah, you've got the universal weight.
Yeah.
And that's a Rider-Waite deck. Okay, the deck that's those images are of is the Rider-Waite Smith. Smith is Pamela Coleman Smith, the woman who drew the pictures, and they used to cut her out for forever. So it was always the Rider, which is the people who published it. Waite was the magician, and then they never used Smith. It was just, I thought that was the person who, but they just cut the woman out, of course, right?
Of course, right.
I know. So now everyone's very careful to call it the Rider-Waite Smith, and she was a really cool little person too. If you ever want to Google her.
I've been taking drawing classes, so I started looking at these with a new eye because she used colored pencils, I think, and it's just really watercolor.
She didn't. That's a revised edition. I don't have the one in front of me.
Oh.
The one that's really the Rider-Waite Smith is very flat. That's much prettier to look at. The universal weight.
Oh well, I'm looking. It's pretty, and I could see how they drew in with a colored pencil, and it's
Yeah. Oh no, they did. That's probably U.S. Games who owns the rights to the Rider-Waite Smith. They do a lot of variations of it. You can get really weird ones with really strange colors and stuff, and there's all kinds of weird. But that's called the Universal deck. I have that too. I'm just don't have it in front of me today.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really, if you ever want to Google something interesting, Pamela Coleman Smith.
Okay.
She had quite the life, apart from writing those, apart from drawing those. Okay, so you didn't get the first 2, but that's okay. We can just start, and then if you want the other 2, I recorded them and saved them. So let me know.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's get started then. Okay, where am I? I want this. I think. Yeah. It gives you a bunch of screens to pick.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Can you see that?
Yes.
Great. Okay, there. Okay, so we're in the same place. So we're going to do Mysteries of the Tarot, the Hierophant, through the Wheel of Fortune, like 6 cards. Okay, which I think is enough for anybody in an hour. Even though we might go through it a little quickly. But feel free to ask questions as we go along, anything you want to know.
Okay.
So you already probably know, or maybe not, the structure of the tarot. We're working now with the major arcana cards. The tarot is always 78 cards. Anything that you want to, if you can use fairy cards, you can use oracle cards, whatever, but by definition, tarot is 78 cards, okay? So the 22 more important cards, the more profound cards are called the major arcana. And this is the Major Arcana. And really fundamentally, the story of the tarot is the Fool, who is taking a journey, and he's visiting all his mentors and doing his life lessons, etc. And as he goes along, he's learning different lessons, and he will eventually get to the last card, the World, where he leaves the planet, reincarnates, and comes back. And in the first couple of lessons, we did the basics of the tarot, and then we did the first four: the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, and now we're going to start with the Hierophant. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm just looking for them.
Yeah, if you want to. You don't need them, but
Oh, I don't need them? Okay.
yeah, it's just nice to know once you come across them what they're about.
Okay.
Okay, the Hierophant, number 5, okay, is Hierophant, kind of a unusual word. People don't usually use it as, very much today, but it really just means the translator of the holy word, whether it's the written word or the spiritual word. And a lot of the decks call this card the Pope, okay, because that's exactly what he is. He translates the word of God and gives it to the people. He's the one that's chosen to do that. Super important. Even his headdress here, it just kind of looks like the Pope's headdress. It's to communicate with God. It's like, okay, right here, he's transmitting through me. And you can get into all alien stuff if you want to. If you want,
watch it every night. Yeah. Ancient Aliens.
Do you really? I watch
do.
Ancient Aliens. That's on TV. There's even a funny show on one of the other on one network on I forget it. It's kind of a wacky network, and it's all about these stoners. And the show shows them, the stoners sit around and watching Ancient Aliens. It's hysterical, and it's like, oh wow, they get all so impressed. It's so funny. So anyways, tons of symbols here, but just you can even see very simply, looks just very much like the Pope. Okay, his vestige is very much like the Pope, because really that's the best example. When I get this card in a reading, and it's, for example, a love reading, and I get this card, this is the biggest I use, the biggest marriage card in the whole deck if I'm asking marriage questions or love questions. This is the walking down the aisle, signing the papers, the universe blessing, the holy blessing of the universe and God to earth, okay? So the big thing about the Hierophant or the Pope is that, yes, he's translating the information from God, but he's unlike the High Priestess, who's earlier in the number 2 card in the Major Arcana. She's just translating, she's just like, hey, this is what's going on. She's more airy-fairy. She's more New Age, okay? She's okay, hi, how are you doing? She might be even the Oracle of Delphi, smoking weed and telling you what's coming in.
Yeah.
I've been to Delphi. It's really amazing. Hi, she's here. Okay, great. We were waiting for you, but I'll send you the copy of the thing anyway, so you'll get the first part.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't figure out the password.
7878. Number of cards in the tarot.
Oh, okay.
I sent you the thing, so I was.
Oh, sorry.
Somehow I think I sent the wrong one, but whatever. I sent it for another meeting or something, and I did without a password. So, okay, we're talking about the Hierophant, and we're talking basically he's the Pope. Okay, Hierophant, it's an unusual word, but actually it just means holy, the holy guy, the guy who translates the holy word, either from himself, either from his spiritual life or from the books that are written. So he's translating them for the masses. Okay, and I showed you the Pope because his headdress looks so much like the Pope. And we were just talking about Ancient Aliens, how it might be an alien transmitting device too, if you want to get Ancient Aliens on us. Okay, so the Pope is not like the High Priestess we talked about before. I just went over this. The High Priestess is more airy-fairy, like the Oracle of Delphi. Here's my information. I'm going to give it to you freely, back and forth, whatever. Maybe I'm stoned, and I'm telling you the information from the high on high through my crown, my circular crown, much more circular, much more incoming. This is direct communication of whatever it is to the masses. Okay, and his headdress like the Pope. Okay, but he is bound by rules. Okay, and very important down at the bottom, the keys at the bottom of the thing. It's the keys to the kingdom, or the keys to knowledge. But see, he's also on a box. He's limited by the rules of man. Okay, he has to do things in perhaps a ritual that has to be repeated all the time, like a priest has to do mass every day. Okay, there's definitely limitations about it. And you see here the pillars of the church. If you're Catholic at all, it's, you know, that's, they always say that. The pillars of the church are the laws, the rules, the fundamentals, no abortion, you can't get divorced, you know, things like that. Okay, you have to go to confession, the rules, the rituals. So this is much more rigid than the high priestess, but also a similar headdress. The hand is, he's just making the mudra. It's called the mudra. And he's with his right hand. Yeah. Okay. He's blessing us, telling us, hey, it's okay. You need his permission. Okay. But he's pointing up to heaven and he's giving you the holy permission. Okay. To do whatever it is. You're going to get married now. Here, I think he did that when I was confirmed. You know, it's like you're child of God or whatever. They probably do it when you're baptizing, you know, same kind of thing. I'm imparting this to you. Bet you anything they do it at last rites.
Nice chimes.
Yeah, I know. That's my ringer. It's right in the iPhone. Everybody likes it, but nobody uses it. It's like, yeah, it's just like, so it's much more calm, you know. And especially going off in the middle of a reading, I don't want, you know, it's like, oh, doodly, fairy chords. So he is bound by the rules of the church, symbolized by the box. And we talked about the box and the rules in the emperor last time. This is a similar meaning. It's the rules, four walls. You can't really go outside of them. Yeah, I can tell you the information, but I got to keep within the rules. The staff in his left hand, his intuitive hand, is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. The three tenets of the mystery is of God. Okay. And I know it, you don't. I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay. So there's a lot of legitimacy to it. When I use this I was saying before, when I have this come up in a love reading, I use it as the marriage card, the walking down the aisle card. Okay. This is, you know, the Pope or the priest blessing your marriage, actually the contract, the physical contract binding you, the spiritual contract bound on earth. Okay. All right. So we know about that. Okay. He has these monks down here. They're pretty cool. And they have, what's the name of the tonsure? Yeah, I always forget the name. The tonsure, which means that they've shaved their heads up top. Okay. And that's supposed to be, you know, some people think, oh, it's for lack of vanity. It's like, oh, I don't care about vain things. I'm shaving my head like Tibetan monks. But I think it's a little bit different because I always notice, this is just my own personal thing. Well, that's where your crown chakra is. So they're kind of, I don't even want hair in the way. I want to shave the hair so I can get that message from God really, right, you know, immediately. Okay. And he has, this one has red roses, which is about love, you know, Mary, love, all that. Okay. And the lilies are more about thought, like I'm devoted to you. I'm thinking it through, you know, so love and devotion. That's what these monks are there doing. You know, they're devoting him and devoted to him. Anything else I forgot? Okay. Yeah. So, and if I find this card if it's a work reading, for example, somebody's asking about their job and it's in the negative position, I'm like, whoa, you got yourself into a bad contract. Okay. Because the rules are working against you. Okay. If it's in the positive position, it's like, wow, you must have the best medical package ever, or you've got a great stock deal. Because this is in the positive aspect of it. So those two general things, I mean, it's about the rules, things that you can't generally change, or you know, if you do, you have to wiggle around it. I can also get it if somebody's going to court. I said, yeah, am I going to go to court or are we going to settle? You're going to court. Okay. This is the guy that makes the rules, does the rules. Okay. So he's pretty cool. But he's when the fool is visiting him, it's more like, okay, what are the rules? I know there's a lot of spiritual stuff already. I already visited a couple of people that really have that spiritual thing going on. How am I going to implement this on earth? What rules do I have to follow so I don't get burned at the stake or whatever else? Okay, so he needs that information. Okay, we got the Pope. Okay, so I guess we're done with the Hierophant. Any questions? No?
Sounds good.
Good. Okay. Let's move on to number 6, the lovers. Okay. So many readers read this as, oh, yay, I got the lovers. When it's like, oh, we're going to be lovers. And it's just interested in this guy. We're going to be lovers. It really does. It's a very sexy card, obviously, but it's not about lovers. It's not about being about lovers in that sense of it. And you'll notice, first of all, it's a yellow sun. Remember when we did the Fool and I showed you that it was a white sun, which isn't really a white, it isn't what the sun looks like. It looks more like this. So we knew that the Fool was on a spiritual journey with his white sun. This is a yellow sun, just like we see it with our eyes, okay? So we know we're on Earth. These are earthly questions. Okay, so it's really more about coming to a crossroads, okay? It's a choice between the sacred and the profane. I mean, a lot of readers read it as lovers. I just never have. It's too obvious. You know what I mean? It's just too obvious. I mean, you can use it that way. I wouldn't. This is also not, this is Archangel Raphael. Raphael is about healing. So he's healing the two sides here. It's a crossroads, but also it's two sides. It's like when you think about the lovers, you can think more about this. I'm at the crossroads. Which way am I going to go? Okay. And this is like the jazz musicians. They go down to the crossroads, sell their soul to the devil so they can play any music they want, like Robert Johnson. Okay. And I went down the crossroads, the devil by my side. Okay. So it's like, which way am I going to go? What moral choice am I going to make? What spiritual choice am I going to make? Okay. So some of the symbols, this is Archangel Raphael, as I said. I love him. He's about healing. If you're ever sick, it's Raphael. Okay, he's good. He's probably working overtime right now. Okay, then we see the choices. Okay, first of all, it is very male-female. Of course, here's the big phallic symbol in the background, the mountain, and then also the river, the female. You know, this is supposed to be, the coloring isn't that great on this, but it's a stream. It's a stream here, and it's like this is a stream and the male-female, obviously. And this is the clouds of inspiration. On the left, we have, of course, Eve, right? Okay. And she's in the Garden of Eden. Now, this is just, okay, we're just going to have sex. Okay. And that's the temptation. Okay. And whatever. And here's the serpent tempting her. Okay. And then over here, of course, wonderful Adam, right? Who never made a mistake in his life until a woman came into his life, right? He has the 12 flames that represent like the 12 signs of the zodiac, the more spiritual, the more stellar, the more evolved. So it's kind of like if you're having a sexual relationship with someone, the aspect of making the choice, well, do you want it just to be about sex, one night stand? Or do you want to take sex to that higher level where you're both kind of transported to the next level and where it's really transformative? So this is kind of the choice here. It's more about a choice. When I get it in a reading, I'm more, it's certainly a sexy card, but when I get it in a reading, I'm like, if you're in a relationship, it's like, you're going to have a choice about which way to go. You guys are still making a decision. Which way do you want to go? This way or that way? In the negative position, it's like, probably you don't have a choice, or even more importantly, you're not making the choice. You're not choosing. You need to pick. Do you guys want to be together or don't you want to be together? Are you going to decide to move in together? Aren't you going to decide? And when it's like, I always go like this, it's like you're at the crossroads. Which way do you want to go? Sometimes it's good, you're going to make the decision. Sometimes it's negative. No, we're not really going to get there. It's like, but it's important to make the decision. Let's see, the 12 themes. Raphael, did I get everything in? Yeah, are we just going to take it to the higher level or not? So that's fundamentally what that's about. And purple, just very elevated. It's like, are you gonna come up with me? Are you gonna elevate this? And he's trying to heal the two. That one can't exist without the other, but it's like we have to get them both together so that we can evolve. And the purple would be like the crown chakra. Are we gonna go way up there or whatever? But I just never use it as a sex and drugs and rock and roll card at all. Even a lot of readers really do. And I'm like, no, that's not what that means. It's too obvious. This card, there's another card later on that we're going to talk about that's actually about lust. This isn't about lust. It's more about which way do you want to go. Okay. Make sense? Yes. Any questions? No?
Sounds good.
Good. Okay, great. Check. Okay. Got the crossroads. The Chariot. Now the Fool has to go to the Chariot. He wants to find out, how am I going to achieve all these goals that have been put in front of me, all this information? How am I going to use everything that I've got to go forward? When I get this card, I'm always like, take the bull by my shorthand for it is take the bull by the horns, go forward. Oh yeah, and I see, oh, you're really, if it's in the positive, hey, you're going forward. Yeah, you're really doing your work. You're really digging it out. You're really, creating now. You might not have gotten there, but you've got the tools. You're going forward. In the negative position, you're probably being lazy. You're not doing what you need to do. You're letting everything happen to you. You're being reactive rather than proactive. So I would definitely say this is a proactive card, but this guy is also very much using, he's using his intuition to go forward. He's using all these different tools. Super cool. Okay. He's got the sun. This is the sun supposed to be reflected on his chest. The sun, the moon, and the stars right here. He's using all of these elements to achieve his goal. Sun, moon, and stars. The moon on his little, there's little faces of the moon there. And he's using them all together. The reflected light of the moon, the direct light of the sun, and the spiritual light of the stars. And he's using that all together. The little square is just the material world. He's kind of holding the material world with his forces, like in that movie where they have the suspended, the suspended the piece of matter, of antimatter in a thing, and it has to be suspended. It's like he's holding it with all this energy around him there, and there's something floating in the middle. He's got this all nice and balanced. Okay. The sphinxes. Okay. Of course, these are the guardians of the mysteries. Okay. In Egypt, in Egyptian mythology, more in Greek mythology, they're more dangerous. They're more like, okay, you don't know, we'll kill you. Okay, you don't know the answer to the Sphinx, we're going to eat you. You riddle of the Sphinx. If you don't answer the questions, we'll eat you. But in Egyptian, it's more like they're the pathway to the knowledge. Okay, so a little bit of both. And one is black and one is white. Why? That's kind of weird. How come? Because they're really kind of yin and yang. Okay, they complement each other, the positive and the negative. Very simple, and one can't exist. They both exist in suspension. They're both yin and yang, give and take, waves on a beach, never end. Okay, you can't have a wave come in and never go out. Okay, that's how things work, the balance. So that's why the sphinxes are of that color. Okay, and so, but notice also he's got these sphinxes and they look like they're supposed to be pulling the chariot, but look, there's no reins. He's controlling them with his intuition and with his spirit and with his will. Okay, he has no reins that are saying, hey, get up, sphinxes. He's like, okay, I just trust that the yin and yang will work with me, and we'll just go, we're going wherever we need to be. Okay. He also, on his tunic or whatever you want to call it, I know it's not a skirt, probably a tunic you'd call it, I guess, but he has a lot of magical symbols there. So he's trying to manifest. He's manifesting he has the codes, and he can use them as he needs to. And this wand is more of a magic wand, more of a manifestation wand that he's using. And it's in his right hand, which means he's not incoming. It's that kind of outgoing. Okay, I've got the information now. I've got my magic wand. I'm going to do something with it. Okay, so it's more proactive. And of course, he has the stars here, where he's communing with the ethers, communing with the astrological symbols, using all the information he has. Okay, and then on his chariot here, we have this weird symbol, which, right, it's the little red thing. And I was like, what is that red thing? Okay, and it's actually the lingam and the yoni. Okay, and it's just a shorthand kind of symbol for the lingam and the yoni, the male and the female. So he's controlling the sexuality too, the yin and the give and take, the back and forth. The Lover's card, he's controlling that dichotomy, and that's part of his chariot, the lingam and the yoni. And then there are wings on top of it to indicate, well, this is when the more evolved state of the male-female union. We can take this to a higher level. We can take this to the spiritual level, sexual magic or whatever, taking it, up to the higher level. What else? Okay. Oh, there's the stream back here. Okay. And you're wondering, how come a stream behind him? This is him using his intuition again, the intuition of the stream and the water. And his goal is probably, his goal being the city behind him. taking the chariot. I need some way to get somewhere. Where do I want to go? That's probably like Jerusalem or something, where he either wants to conquer it or get knowledge from it or whatever. So it's more like a holy city or something like that he wants to control. And I told the square is the material world. He also is suspending that, just holding it with all this invisible energy. But he's moving. He may not be physically moving. He's definitely going to manifest some great stuff. Okay, let's see if I get everything. Yeah, and also one of the things that you have to, this is all these elements, one emphasis of it is working together, okay? This is, all these elements have to be together so that they're all working in tandem. It's not just him calling out, it's not just one thing. Everything has to be in balance for this card to move forward, for this guy to move forward in his chariot. Yeah, the no rings, okay. Yep, and then once he's got all these elements together, I think I got everything in there. He is able to, hey, I got everything going now, let's go. We're off to do whatever it is, sack Jerusalem or whatever it is he wants to do. Or find his life's purpose. So when the fool ends up visiting this guy, he feels a lot more empowered. He's like, oh, okay, now I've got a lot of these pieces together. Now it's like I don't learn how to work with them together. You know, like the puzzle pieces are coming together so I can actually manifest. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Questions? No? Okay, great. Yell out any questions you might have. Okay, all right. So that's the 7 card. Okay, now we're going to the 8 card, Strength. Okay, and as you remember from the Magician card, it has the lemniscate or the infinity symbol over her head, just like the Magician. But the Magician is using earth, air, fire, and water to manifest his stuff. Okay, he's got the four elements on his table and his magic wand in the air. She is using the strength of love, her inner strength, to control and to create. Okay, now the lion is passion and fiery things that are just out of control. Sometimes this card is even called lust because it's like kind of controlling your passions. It's like, it's not coming to fruition with, not having sex with love, but like, oh, wow, the anticipation. Oh, I'm lusting after that. Her white gown is purity and just her pure intention. The roses are love, okay, and the lion is red, like a fiery red passions. She's taming him, not with strength. She's not she's not strong enough physically to smush him down. She can open and close his jaws just as she likes. The lion trusts her. Okay, and in the background, there's definitely another phallic symbol back here. There's all kinds of phallic symbols back here. There's mountain and a stream back there too. The male and the female, yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine, all working together. But she's working within her. She's working him because the lion trusts her because he loves her. They've gotten a bond together. There's nothing tough about it. So she's not controlling him like a lion tamer or with any kind of real force. It's more like Bindi the Jungle Girl, okay? So she's petting him. That lion loves her. They have established some kind of bond, whether it's through love or respect, or she feeds him at a certain time or whatever. And he has probably grown up with her since a cub, and it's more of it's symbiotic relationship. This is all about the strength within, and it's controlling external forces, but more controlling external emotional forces. Okay, more like and again, this working together thing. This doesn't work unless both parties are in conjunction together. When I get this inner reading and I get it in the positive position, I'm like, wow, you guys must, I'm in a love reading, I'll say, wow, you guys must have a really strong connection. You must get each other. Like, I get you, okay? And in the negative position, it's like, wow, you probably don't trust each other. If I get it in a business reading, it's like, wow, you probably don't have much of a connection. Whereas, you don't trust the relationship. you're looking for outward, confirmation of the relationship, rather than trusting your inner knowledge of is, hey, I really get you. I can't wait to be with you. That kind of thing. It's like, no, is he going to call me first? Are you going to call me first? That kind of stuff. But this is more about that. And in a business reading, it's like, you must really love your work, especially if I get it as a card on top, indicating it's like, oh, this is business. Oh my God, you really love it. You must love being a fashion designer, or wow, you really love being an accountant, or whatever it is. It's like you really get it. And, you're fundamentally, doing what you're supposed to be doing. You love it, and you're probably going to do best at it because you love it. If in the negative position, it's like, God, you just don't, you're not getting this. It's getting boring for you. You might have loved it in the past, but it's over. You need to change jobs or careers or something. Yeah. And this is, like I said, the lemniscate, a little bit different than the one I'm in the magician. It's like she's creating, but she's creating from love and trust, rather than I have the pieces to put it together on the planet and now I can do it. And now I can trust God. It's like more like it's a little more evolved. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. So that's her. She's great. Okay. Now we get to the Hermit. I bet we're kind of all relating to him.
For sure. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I love this clip. I was like, that is adorable. And he's looking at the window through his phone. I was like, that is so cute. I had to put that up. It's like, help me.
That is great. Yeah, it's
great.
True.
Yeah. So it's like, he is like the poster child for the COVID-19. He's the Hermit. So he is very cool, and he's sometimes misunderstood about, it can mean loneliness. But but really this guy knows everything. Okay. He's like the story. I love the story of the guy who is going to see the hermit, and he's looking for knowledge. Okay. And he's like, okay. And he says, I'm going to go to the Himalayas and get to the top of this mountain and find this guy and ask him what the meaning of life is. I'm so excited. And he goes through so many agonizing things to get there. He has to swim a river. He has to fight the lions. Maybe he goes through poverty and starvation, and he has to, it's just terrible. And he gets there, he breaks his leg, and he has to heal his leg, and all kinds of ordeals. Okay. Seeing this guy, he's taken his horse here, and he's gone through these big mountains and this rough terrain here. And he climbs the mountain finally. Oh my gosh, I'm finally here. And he gets to the hermit, and the hermit goes, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And he goes, oh, thank God I'm here. It's like, yeah, great. Hey, sit down. Tell me, how did you get here? I swam the ocean. I fought the tigers. I broke my leg and was laid up for 6 weeks. It took me another 6 weeks to get here. My wife got mad at me, and now we're in a fight, and I don't know if we're going to have all this horrible stuff. But now I'm finally here. Tell me, hermit, what is the meaning of life? And he says, well, that's it. That's it. You got it. So, but I like this little drawing. I can't read what's up here, but it seems like this guy is on this big pilgrimage and finally reaches the guy. Okay. So, and it's like Miley Cyrus, The Climb. Yeah, it's the climb. It isn't about how fast you get there. It's not about what's on the other side. It's the climb. And it's like the Buddhist little saying, the journey is the destination. Oh, Westerners everybody in the West, including me, have a hard time with that. It's like, we're goal oriented. No, you're supposed to get this, whatever. But yeah, it's fine to have a goal, but okay, the lesson is on the journey. Oh, you failed so many times. Warren Buffett always says, I became a billionaire by failing, not by winning, by failing, learning from my mistakes and going on. So this is, so Miley, she didn't write that, but she sang it. I thought that was one of her best songs. And so she, but anyways, that's what it's about. Really, she doesn't know I doubt she knew she was singing about a Buddhist concept. But, Yeah. But it was like, yeah, you know, she's saying about her career. I'm just going to have something else. It's like, and yeah, I mean, as you get older, you recognize that. It's like, yeah, I know I'm going to get my money together. Oh, now I got my money together. What are they going to throw at me now? You know, it's like, okay, now I've got my boyfriend together. Now what are we going to, what challenge do we have? You know, that kind of thing. So that's kind of about that. Also, if you look at his lantern, which is arguably the most important part of the drawing by Pamela Coleman Smith, keep plugging her today since neglected. It is not really, at first you look, oh, it's a light. It's really, it's the Star of David. This isn't the most clear drawing, but it's the Star of David in there. Okay, and it means that he has the Star of David. Okay, it's more like it's the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine together, Star of David. Okay, it's the opposites working together again. A lot of these cards in this level of the tarot are about working together, and also it's the 4 elements, which I forgot about, and then I just saw this. Oh yeah, I forgot the 4 elements. Fire is in there, the symbol for water is in there, and also the symbol for air and earth. It's like, so it's pretty cool. So not only that, but you can manifest with the Star of David. So not only is it working together, but there's the elements for manifestation. So powerful symbol. So that's what's really important. This guy already knows. When I get it in a reading and I get it in a positive position, it's like, you already know the answer. It's like you got it. Don't worry. It's in front of you. He's showing you the lantern, but he's like, it's like the story I told you. What's the meaning of life? Duh. you got it. It's just look up. Would you look up and see it and know what the meaning is? So that's why I think the lantern part is the most important part of that, because it's the knowledge. You already have it. Recognize it. Move on. He's standing on the top of a mountain himself, and you see these other mountains in the background. All these things that he's probably already achieved. He's already gotten past these mountains. Now he's standing what looks pretty much like the highest mountain, and he's got his information. Okay, so you have your information. You beat that. Don't worry about it. I can use this in a reading. I can use, his staff is in the left side. It's a staff to support him, but it's his intuition. His intuition is supporting him. Left hand always is intuition coming in. I'm resting on that. And the right hand manifesting, okay, this is what you can do with it. Okay. So he's standing on the tallest mountain. He's done a lot of his own work already. So it's like, you know, he's like, yeah, I got it. Now I want to impart it. In a reading, I can use it in a negative position. Yeah, I don't know how many times people come in for love readings and it's like, well, how come I'm not meeting anybody? I'm not meeting it. And I'll get this card in the negative position. It's like, you're not going out. It's like you're all by yourself all the time. I said, unless you want a boy to fly through the window and drop on your head, you know, it's not going to work. Crossing, again, the same things, like you're cutting yourself off or you're not paying attention to your intuition. In the positive position, you need time alone. Chill. You know, this has been kind of forced on us over the last month or two, but it's obviously, I mean, a lot of people anybody with a brain is understanding that they needed the time alone and have been doing different things. I know I've been doing the classes. I've been doing different, you know, things that I hadn't done. I'm shredding papers from a business that I ended like 9 years ago with Social Security card numbers on them. It's like a Herculean task. But it's like sometimes you need that time alone. It's like, oh, after this, the feng shui in the apartment will be great. All those old business stuff will be out of here. Okay, so sometimes you need that downtime. So it's certainly not a negative card. That people get scared of it, but no, it's a really nice card. Let me make sure I got all the things. Yeah, I think those are the basics of the Hermit. Okay. Okay, we're moving fast again. Okay, I am fast. I'm fast. Last time I had, and at you said we should have more, so I had more this time. So I'm still ahead. So just talk. So if you have questions, keep them in mind. Now we're getting to the Wheel of Fortune, which is really kind of the epitome, kind of what the tarot is. It's all tarot all the time. It is the big tarot card. Okay, and it is not this. It is not you're going to be lucky. Okay, or you're not going to be lucky. It's not about luck or fortune coming in. We can use a lot of the other cards for material gain, but that's not what this is about at all. Okay, it's more about the wheel, the circle of life. Okay, it's more about the circle of life. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is really kind of about. Okay. Okay, and the symbols, holy frijoles. We got a lot of symbols. Okay, let's start with the fact that it has tarot right written on it. Okay, T-A-R-O. And remember last time we talked about tarot, the first T being the last T. This is a great example of that. T-A-R-O-T. Okay, and also just to refresh, tarot is the anagrams. Tarot is also rota, the wheel. Tarot, the book of thought. Orat is in there too, to speak. And Torah, the Torah, duh. Okay, and Ator is the goddess of love. So actually, the tarot is the wheel of the book of thought that speaks the law of love. Loosely. Okay, put that together. So yeah, and also there's lots of symbols. Obviously, the Sphinx up here is the key to the mysteries. He also has a sword, which nobody ever mentions, but I'm always thinking, oh, it's a sword to cut through so that you can get to the knowledge. Okay, and it's also a guarded knowledge, but you can also use the sword to cut through. So the Sphinx is sitting atop it, and T-A-R-O-T, and however else you want to read it. Okay. Then we have these four figures in the corners. This is the symbol for Aquarius. This is Scorpio, and obviously Taurus. My sign, Taurus, and it's Taurus and Leo. I always taught that this is the 4 seasons, but there are a lot of different interpretations of that, 4 astrological seasons. They're all reading a book. It's all the Torah. They're all searching for inner knowledge. Okay, they're searching for the knowledge of themselves. Okay, and they're trying to study and do this. And the clouds are the ethereal, taking them to the higher levels. They're, at various stages, but they're all being uplifted by the Torah. Okay, the snake. We'll go to the snake next. Okay, is really the amphisbena. Okay, which is a double-headed snake. If you look carefully, it's double-headed. And it is so that you can look forward and back, see what you are going forward to learn, but also it's the climb, right? Okay, it's the climb. You want to look back and see what you learned also, but you also want to see what's going in front of you. So this little snake is squiggling over here. Okay, then we have this redheaded guy, this red guy. At first you look and it's like, oh, he's the devil. No, he's not the devil. He has a little fox face, kind of. And he is Anubis. Yay, Anubis. Okay. Anubis is the god of mummification and death, but it's like death and mummification. It's really more mummification. Because yeah, he's guiding you into the underworld, right? He's there saying, oh, he's the god of death, watch out for him. Well, yeah, but he's also gonna resurrect you. He has the Ankh in his hand, which is the key of life. Okay, that's the key of life, and he can. I don't know what he's gonna do with that. Rip out your brains or whatever. Stick them up there and make Jello.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Do all that stuff, but guess what he has behind him? Ha ha ha! I'm going to bring you back to life too. I'm going to bury you with all your cats and your servants and stuff, so you'll be all comfortable too. Okay, so that's Anubis, and what's he doing? He is bringing up. He's moving up, like he's he's coming up, so everybody can be reincarnated. Come back and do your work. Come back and do more work. Come back and do whatever, or in your other lifetime or whatever. He's bringing the wheel up. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, then in the middle, we have in the little center areas right here, like in this area. Okay, I'm going to show you what that is. That's earth, air, fire. These are the alchemical symbols for earth, air, fire, and water. Azoth is what you're supposed to be creating, really. If you want to get in deep into the alchemy, that's another whole area of study. Have at it. This is the symbol for salt, also earth. The symbol for sulfur, kind of fire, and mercury. The symbol for mercury is water. So it's the alchemical symbols for earth, air, fire, and water. And Azoth is air. It's like kind of like in alchemy circles. It's more like the elusive, the philosopher's stone, kind of like the thing you're supposed to create out of the other stuff. Earth, air, fire. The air is kind of like the elusive thing you're supposed to be creating. So that's what those symbols are about. Okay, cool. All right, we got all this. What else the most important, and actually a great place to leave off. What are these Hebrew symbols here? We don't know. What are those Hebrew symbols? Okay, they're kind of mysterious looking. This is Yad-He-Vav-He, and it's the unpronounceable name of God. Of course, I said it, but it's not pronounceable. If you pronounced it correctly, you would be elevated and everyone would evolve. Okay, no one can pronounce it. And this is the Yad, this is the He, this is the Yav, and this is the He. And that's kind of how we get the word Jehovah, from Yad-He-Vav-He. I don't speak Hebrew, but those are the symbols. So it's the unspeakable, the unpronounceable, impossible to pronounce word of God. To say, if you could say God, it would be like, everything would switch. You can't do it. It's impossible yet. We say someday we can do it. Probably Judgment Day. Somebody will say it and everybody will go up to the next level. Okay, something like that. But here it is, Yad, whatever it is, Had, Be. Okay, those four. So really this is kind of, also the 10. Remember we were talking about, the 10 is an elevated 1 in numerological terms. It's a 1 in Arabic, 1, Arabic numerals 1, and then 1, 0. Okay, so it's an elevated 1. So this is like the Hermit, not the Hermit, the Magician, who is the 1 card on steroids. It's like, oh, okay, you're going to create, well, what do you want to create, a new planet? This is the big, you can do a lot of creating here. With the Wheel of Fortune. Just make sure I get everything. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't mean good fortune. The Jackal, the Empress, the clouds are dreams, higher powers. I think I did that. Yeah, earth, air, fire, and water. The 1, yeah. When I get this in a reading, I get that if it's in a positive position, I think, oh, good. And I don't think it's a big change. This is more evolving. This is more ticking forward. The wheel is not going, like, flipping everything upside down. The wheel is tick, 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 the Wheel of Fortune. You're going forward. You're learning your next lesson in the positive position to me, because all these people, they're really trying to learn. All these characters are learning, growing, offering obstacles, offering solutions, all of this stuff. Okay, what are we going to learn? What are we going to learn next? Everybody's asking. I'm not sure. Oh, let's look. Maybe am I going to be mummified and brought back? What does it mean when I go to the other side? Oh, what did I learn? What didn't I learn? All these questions. And that's kind of what the tarot answers once you're starting to work more with it. All the questions. Okay, and it tries to help you learn all your lessons. But when I get in the positive position, ticking forward, maybe moving forward in your job, don't worry about it. You are moving forward. You're learning. In the negative position, you're not doing your work. You messed up. You're not moving forward. Crossing the same way. Anything like that. Or just get it standing on your own. It's like, it could be even a little bit of a waiting card. Like, oh, I want this to be done already. And it's like, oh, I want to skip to the end. And if I say, well, what's going to happen? Am I going to marry this guy or whatever? And I'm like, you're going to marry him right now, but I get you could be getting there. It's like there's work to do, but you're ticking towards it. If I got it upside down and say, well, no, it looks like you guys are kind of falling apart at this point. Or the same way with a job. Yeah, am I going to get this promotion? Well, you're working towards it. Maybe you want to go and knock on the door, make sure they know, because you're doing the work's required. You can maybe go and find out when you're going to get your promotion. In the negative position, it's like, well, you're just sitting there not doing anything new. Why are they going to give you a promotion? So, you know, that kind of aspect of it. But no, it's a big learning card. It's a learning card. It's a great card if in the first Tarot 101, I said how to do guided meditations. This is a great one to do a guided meditation on, because it's like you'd be in there for forever. If you're talking to all the different people and trying to, you know, spin the wheel or whatever else you're trying to do. So yeah, it's an interesting card. Any questions? No?
No, thank you. This is very interesting.
Was it helpful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to know how you interpret them in
Yeah.
your reading. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I'm giving you shorthand on them. When you're really starting to work with the tarot and doing the different spreads, the cards will start talking to each other. Like it might come up next to something where I would temper my interpretation. You know what I mean? It's like you're not moving forward because the King of Pentacles is sitting on top of you. Your boss won't let you do anything or whatever, you know? So, you know, there's a lot of things. There could be subtleties that change the meaning of the card somewhat. So it's all about where the cards are placed, how they come, you know, and also just stuff that pops to you.
What did you did you discover that you had a talent for this, or did you really study hard and have to learn it, or was it a little of both?
I believe everybody has a talent for it.
Yeah.
Everybody has intuition. You know when somebody's calling you on the phone or whatever. Okay, there's things that people don't pay attention to. I always say I just practice more. So the way I learned, I was in college and I had a roommate that encouraged me to have readings and she had always had readings. So I never did, but when I did my semester abroad in London, I had a reading and I found it really helpful and accurate. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So when I moved to New York, I continued to have readings. And then one day I was English literature major. So, you know, we like symbols and whatever, we like to interpret everything. So I said, what are all these symbols? I wonder what they all mean. You know, they look pretty interesting. They can't just be on the surface. So I bought a book and a deck and I started teaching myself. And then just slowly I took a couple courses, I guess, at the new school, but fundamentally taught myself. And then I just started reading for people slowly and then started to charge for it. You know, I did many other things before I started doing this.
I guess I always get, because there's so many different meanings to the cards, whenever I see them in a layout, I'm afraid to interpret them because I'm afraid I'll pick the wrong meaning.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Get out of this is my big message for you. Get out of the way of the cards. Just start talking.
Okay.
Just talk. Just look at the cards, fundamentally know, and then a lot of stuff will just spill out of your mouth.
Because like I had a reading recently and I think I asked whether I was going to make my trip to, supposed to go to Europe in May. The reader pulled out a card, the world, and he said, well, this is a travel card, you'll probably go. When I see the world, I interpret it as this is at an end, right? This is over. Oh, and really? I was right, and the reader was wrong.
Oh, how funny.
But you know, is it also to some extent your experience with the cards, so that like his experience with the cards was that it means world travel, but my experience has always been it's an end to something. So
I mean that's really interesting, because as we were talking about earlier, because that's frankly that's quite an unusual meaning, but it makes
the end or the travel.
The end, but it is the end in the series of the major arcana. I use the world as being you're on the right path, you've gotten where you're supposed to be, you're on your right life path. Which
that's interesting,
but look, see, this is where the Fool ends up. The world is the last card. Then he dies. This is more the death card than death.
Yeah, I always see it as the end. Whenever I get it, I mean, I know it's a pretty card and it looks uplifting, but to me, it's always the end of something.
It actually makes sense. That's
being
interpreted. But also, I always say the cards over the years change their meanings for me. because okay, the emperor for the longest time, when there was a housing boom and everybody was buying houses. Remember, it was before
Yeah.
they were giving all the money away. Remember, that was so stupid.
Yeah.
But they gave all the money away, and then the people couldn't make their mortgages, and everything crashed. Okay, but for a long time, everybody was closing on houses. So the emperor turned into kind of a house card for me, because 4 walls, 4. Okay. And
Okay.
what he looks like, right? He looks like a little,
Yeah.
looks like in his house a little bit, and 4 walls, and you got your contract even, you know. But now I don't use them so much for that. I use them for strict rules, or you're in order, or a good money card, things like that.
Cool.
But as things happen, you know, I've changed the meanings of cards. After actually the world card changed its meaning on December 21st, 2012, when the world was supposed to end, that big spiritual thing, because the number is 21, and it was December 21st. And look, it looks like all that beautiful energy is coming onto the planet, right? Beautiful. Okay, and it's the world. All this, you know, here's the blessings for the world, the new energy coming on. So when I get the card, it's like, oh, you're on your right path. Kind of changed things.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, there are meanings of the symbols like I've described, but I also threw in what I interpret them to be, but you can use, and like I said, when they start talking to each other, it's another story too. You know, it's like,
Cool.
so yeah, it's interesting. So what are we gonna do next time? We'll do justice, the hangman, death, temperance, and the devil. Maybe we'll end with the devil. That would be good. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we can end with the tower.
Yeah, the tower's kind of appropriate.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah, the tower's appropriate.
Yeah, I love the tower. It's always progress, but always through reversal.
It scares me, the tower. It scares me.
It should, but it's scary, but there's always an upside. I always say it's so simple. It's simplistically the World Trade Center. It's like, yeah, it blew up, but we have to blow up the World Trade Center to get a new train station and to get the Oculus and everything. I mean, there's always an upside at the end.
Yes, the silver lining.
Yeah, there's always a silver lining, but of course the tower is really scary. But it's so necessary, and people create the tower for themselves all the time.
For sure.
I get when people hate your job and they won't change it. And I keep going in there. I hate it, and then they get fired and they scream and yell, "Oh my God!" Then you talk to them 2 months later. Oh, thank God I lost that job, because now I got into.
Now I'm happy. Yeah.
Every time.
It's like, just do it, because if you're getting the messages to change something and you're not, you're going to get the tower. Universe won't put up with it. Universe will not put up with it, because you're screwing up the universe. You got an imbalance. You're not doing your work. You're doing a boring job. You're not contributing. We got to smack you.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad you guys came. And I'll send you the copies.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, sweetheart.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Toodaloo. Oh, I want to stop share. There we go.